Well, we've seen one thing that's very clear with Deadpool and Wolverine. You give the fans what they want, and you make money. We've seen one very clear thing with the MCU on Disney+. You don't give the fans what they want. You give them something that you tell them they better accept and ram it down their throats and call them bigots. Yeah, you lose money. It's pretty simple. And you'd think that Disney would figure it out sooner rather than later. And maybe they have. It might be a turning point. Now, I've always told everybody, like, it takes 2-3 years to flatten the curve on these kinds of things. It's the same thing with DEI video games and the like. Disney develops projects 2-3 years in advance. It takes that long to get one of these off the ground. So the fruits of what we're going to see starting now, things that go into develop now, are not going to actually hit until 2026, 2027, even into 2028 at this point. And so we'll see if they do actually start to change things after they get through Agatha all along and Ironheart and Black Captain America and this new Avengers, which is probably going to be led by Brie Larson, because, none of that's going to make money. What's going to happen? So a new rumor claims that Marvel Studios cleaned house after they fired all activists and producers. Let's see what happens on this, too. Please hit the like and subscribe button, everybody. Join us here. I really appreciate it. And we're growing so fast. We just hit 28,000 subscribers. I'm also a comic creator, so if you really love comic storytelling, real classic hero storytelling, something different than Disney, please support our efforts here. We create our own art and are building something different than Disney. And I really appreciate our wonderful fan base who's come in so far. You guys have been amazing. $22,000 and just blown away by all the support here. This Hidden Emperor graphic novel is great if you are a fan of Star Wars, just like some of the old pulpy action, you will enjoy this 100%. Please back it today. It's in the description below. Thank you so much for supporting us, supporting this channel. It means the world over here. All right. So the latest rumor comes from Film Threat founder Chris Gore, wonderful guy, during an appearance on Critical Drinker's YouTube channel. Gore stated, I do know people who work at Marvel. They have cleaned house. They quietly, months ago, fired all the producers that could be labeled as activists, which is kind of wild. They probably saw the writing out on the wall after The Marvels was their worst performing film in history, after She-Hulk Attorney at Law really just turned everybody off of Disney+. Those two properties really did more damage to the Marvel brand than anything you could imagine. Unlike Lucasfilm is lost. They're lost. They're doubling down on all this nonsense. You'll never get anything good out of Lucasfilm and Star Wars. That's it. I just saw that they're actually going to be dropping Andor Season 2 in August. And Disney's done no marketing for that show. Kind of weird. They abandoned it. They put it all in on the Acolyte, which, the black twins with the lesbian space witches. I know some people disagree with this. I thought Andor was pretty good. And maybe that's why they're not promoting it. Really weird. Hopefully season 2 stays on track with that. But in contrast, he said Kevin Feige recognizes, basically, he said that we tried it. It didn't work. He's talking about Phase 4. It didn't work. No Kang. Oh, man, that was a train wreck, wasn't it? They had to scramble so hard to replace Jonathan Majors after his assault violation allegations and all that, that they ran in and offered Robert Downey Jr. I'm hearing upwards of $80 million just to show up and be this variant Doctor Doom thing. Very funny. None of these side characters that don't have legacy of classic characters. If Deadpool and Wolverine proves anything, you've heard the phrase "male and pale is stale." That was spoken aloud across studios. Oh my gosh. And that's true. I mean, if you saw the James O'Keefe Disney exposés, you'd know that they specifically went out and they would intentionally cast and hire people saying that they don't want white males for the job. That's one, super discrimination. It's super illegal, and I hope that Disney gets sued to freaking oblivion over that. But it is something that they've been doing, and it's been pretty bad the whole way through. And we've known it, but this is the first time we've actually gotten confirmation from inside Disney over it. If you look at the box office this year, I would say male and pale is money. That's the phrase I think people should adopt. Gore also noted, additionally, they fired people that don't know the comics. Really funny. I play at the beginning of my live streams this compilation of all these people who work for the MCU who admit they never read the comics before actually making their show. Really funny stuff. do watch the live streams. I know that notifications don't show up too often. We know we screwed up and failed, but look for what's coming. We're going to get 2 bad movies, 2 bad TV shows, and maybe make a good Fantastic Four film. So, of course, he's referencing what's coming up next with Captain America, the Black Captain America, and then, of course, Agatha all along in Ironheart. Those are going to be duds, of course, and we'll see what happens when it gets to Fantastic Four. Now, I'm not really excited about Pedro Pascal playing Mr. Fantastic myself, but we'll see if they can make that work anyway. So Marvel Studios did make a huge change at the end of last year on its television show side. The company is revamping its development process. Showrunners will write pilots and show Bibles. The days of Marvel shooting an entire series from She-Hulk to Secret Invasion, then looking for what's working and not, are done. And this used to be how studios used to do things. They'd do a pilot, they'd get some audience reaction, they'd see how it'd go, and then they'd develop a series if people liked it. It was a smart way to do things, because then you only invest like 1 episode into things, and you don't invest your whole year into something like She-Hulk. Marvel's head of streaming television animation, Brad Winderbaum, informed Kit, "We're trying to marry the Marvel culture with the traditional television culture." He added, "We need executives that are dedicated to this medium and are going to focus on streaming, focus on television, because they're 2 different forms." In April, Kit and Aaron Couch at Hollywood Reporter noted Marvel Studios was hit with layoffs as well. A bunch of junior-level employees in production development were laid off at the time. Kevin Feige admitted that the characters introduced in Phase 4 were unlikely to show up in the company's upcoming Avengers films. That's a good thing. "I rarely speak in absolutes like that, but the notion of never seeing anybody again, we've got Tim Blake Nelson in a movie coming up next year. I never talk in absolutes like that. However, the truth is, we're going to tell a story of these Avengers movies. There won't be a room for 100,000 characters in it, so choices will have to be made, that's for sure. But that doesn't mean you won't ever see anybody again." And that Park Place put a picture of America Chavez here from the Doctor Strange movie, a cringy addition to Doctor Strange, as she was really the one who's taking the lead in that movie, like all of this phase. Where Doctor Strange kind of took a back seat, and it really ruined the movie. Her and Scarlet Witch were the whole movie. And you can see she's got her little pride flag pin on there just to show a little extra diversity representation, and that doesn't work. You got Echo, something that really didn't work as a show and nobody really wanted. You got She-Hulk definitely not coming back after she was such a crazy activist and turned off so many fans. I mean, the only one that, interestingly enough, even though Ms. Marvel was a silly and kind of trite show, definitely aimed at teenage girls, Iman Vellani's like a likable person. She seems all right, and though definitely is a diversity hire, at least she has a little bit of spirit and a little bit of care towards the fans, I would say. It doesn't bother me so much to see her as much as a lot of these other people. But until they get rid of Brie Larson and Captain Marvel, I mean, if she shows up and is leading the Avengers in this new film, it's totally dead on arrival. It really is. That's the one change that needs to happen more than anything, because nobody can stand that woman. She's insufferable. And the Captain Marvel franchise we know was a disaster. Just relabeling it Avengers is not going to work. Of course, Eternals 2, we know is not going to be happening as much as that was a plan. The Jonathan Majors stuff is not happening now as much as that was a plan. So there's so much that was talked about. I've heard also the Young Avengers thing, that Ms. Marvel and Kate Bishop Hawkeye and Ant-Man Girl were supposed to be part of. That's apparently scrapped as well. It looks like they are moving in a completely different direction. It's just slow to move the monolith here, right? Marvel does plan to reference the events that took place. There are, I think you've seen in a trailer recently, acknowledging some of those events. Certain giant things came out of the ocean, he said. So it looks like things are moving in a different direction. And Agatha all along, as we know, it says, "I'm not interested in adhering to comic canon that's discriminatory in any way or violates my values system." So we still got these people, at least in the near term, on these shows, but we'll see what happens as everything moves along. If they are truly fired, if Chris Gore is correct, and he does have some good film contacts, I trust everything that man says, this could be a big sea change shift, and we'll be reporting along the way. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my Hidden Emperor graphic novel on Kickstarter. We'll be back soon.